Now, what does it mean going global? It means a number of things. Here, I think if you only read the newspapers about China and Africa, you would think it means locking up natural resources so that nobody else can have them. But actually, going global is about a lot of different things. It's about diversifying export markets. And when the Chinese look at Africa, they're looking at this as a place where they're selling $50 billion worth of goods in 2008. And this is a place where they see millions and millions of consumers. It's about expanding China's outward investment, and this would be in a number of different sectors. In Africa, there's a lot of investment in manufacturing. There's also investment in agriculture. We'll talk about that in a moment. There's investment in mining, oil, and other sectors. It's also about developing national champions, and Africa plays a role here because Chinese national champions can get in the door easier in Africa. For example, Huawei, the telecommunications company, ZTE, and then large construction firms. So we'll hear more about those too. It's also about securing energy and raw materials, and Africa, again, is a place, by and large, where that's what the rest of the world comes there for. And it's about assisting China's restructuring, which means China wants to move its own companies up from the bottom level of manufacturing and other sectors and move into the higher level and into the services. And so those companies need somewhere to go, and Africa is one of the places where they're going. So what does China look like as an outward investor? This is in global terms. Chinese total FDI, outward investment flows, it's still very small. The little one over there is China, the one in the beginning. And so China is a very small actor in terms of just flows for 2008 and 7 and 6. These are the ones aggregated. And you can see compared to the United States, we are a much bigger investor. And so is Japan, Germany, all of the others too. And if this was a picture of stocks as opposed to flows, the accumulated investment, it would be far, far more distorted with the Chinese being tiny because they're a rather new actor in this area. But you can also see that Chinese, if you can see the colors at all there, they're growing so that just in 2008, it looks like about double the figure for 2006. Now, here's what we have for Africa. Now, I have to warn you that the data we have on Chinese FDI is not good. And that's for a number of reasons. It's not for duplicity on the part of the Chinese government, but it's because of Chinese capital controls. They tend to Chinese companies park their money offshore so they can allocate it more easily. And so we don't have good records. It might be coming from the BVIs or the Channel Islands or the Cayman Islands. So what we have here in red is China. And we can see 2006, 2007, 2008. It's growing enormously. And in the same time from the United States, it's shrinking. So we have this divergence of what's happening in terms of FDI to Africa. Now, this is a distorted picture because in 2008, China's single largest investment in Africa was made. And that investment was 20% of Standard Bank in South Africa, not a mine or not an oil investment. That's the single largest purchase that a Chinese company has made yet in Africa. And what that reflects is their interest in infrastructure and the construction industry, which is booming in Africa. Here we have China-Africa trade, and what we can see is from 2000 to 2008, it went up by a factor of 10. So in 2000, China's trade with Africa was about $10 billion. 2008 was $106 billion. So this is an enormous increase. But what's remarkable about this is the evenness of it. Trade, imports, and exports are almost the same year after year. And so again, it shows that market that Africa provides for the Chinese and also the imports from Africa. It's very different if you were to look at the United States, for example. We import a lot of raw materials just as the Chinese do from Africa, but we don't export very much there. So it's very unbalanced.